Hey guys, and welcome to Tiny Bunny. Tiny Bunny is a non-linear horror visual novel. The description reads, "Everything falls into slumber when winter comes, but not this forest. There's something wandering in snow-covered paths, lurking behind black trees and taking whatever it considers due. It leaves behind bizarre rumors of voices calling you into the thicket of faces looking into your windows, mysterious prints in the snow, and a bunch of child-missing posters. Those who have heard the voice of the forest are beyond help. Their only option is to sink deeper and deeper into the cold embrace of horror, to face their final choice in that icy darkness, to stay alive or stay human." The description is a little bit longer than that. I feel like that should suffice, and I think it's a really interesting read anyway if you want to visit the itch.io page. This was released in 2020. I believe there's been like plenty of gameplay of this, but it looks really cool to me, and I've never seen it, so let's do it. Sorry for my voice. I'm dealing with some allergies or something right now. Don't feel super great. But I got a cup of coffee and a great game in front of me, so we move on. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, and sneering, twinned in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through snow, while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. My house had a mind of its own, a creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days, and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom to the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Ooh, is it a wolf face in the... Holy shit, this art is cool. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. What is... Oh, I can choose to hide this. Sure, let's do it. Wait, do we have quick saves and stuff in here? What is this? Reload, back, probably forward. What's this? Can I save here right now? How many slots do we have? Okay, we've got a good amount of pages we can use. We got 10. So I'm gonna use this one like immediately, because I did say that the choices you make matter. So I don't know if it's gonna be a big deal or not. Let's hide it. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Oh god, I've been there. Olia? Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching... Let's just switch backwards, it just messed my brain up, sorry. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. "You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it." I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest and around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Costu Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the black forest is at night. A spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with the cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I get it, I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this, carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Oh, is that... Because this is Russian. Should try... like know this. This is an R. This is an I. N-A. R-I-N. I'll try to remember that, but I doubt I will. That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. Oh, what did I do? Sorry, I think I just messed up the full screen. Oh, you can just press F for it. Okay, cool. Sorry, she was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? With the sounds coming from the attic, or the thick forest? I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her own funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all the photos are gone. Glass covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled from under the table. Olio was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a shy little woodland creature. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Olio, look, it's a fox. Oh, it wasn't a wolf, it was a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit, it looked under a certain angle. No, outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, we don't have much time. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. I should make the mom sound like, stop. Stop it, these kids, I swear. I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Molly always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all this, through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every second in fear of hearing the most dreaded and deadliest word that started with D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine me and my little sister would be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me yesterday. Have anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still, Karina, please, stop. Whoops. No! What did I do? Oh, that was just the backlog noise. I thought I messed it all up. Karina, please stop, he said. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket along with the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Olia sprung up from her chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes the size of an apple each with her fingers. Last year, you had what? You had Babai in your closet. And now this owl? But I saw it. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me. Couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pined under. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects, like gluing them back together, for example. How do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room, and I was alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. You know, just for a second, it is really lame that the dad is basically like, I don't care about what you see, screw you, it's not real, don't care. Though it does seem like he's probably tired of hearing that a lot. But she's a kid, so you do have to get over it. But also, I don't know if the mom has any right to say anything. She literally just came in and started yelling at both of them, like to just eat their stuff. So it seems like both of the parents are just so miserable with each other that they're lashing out or letting it spread to how they treat their children. You know, misery loves company and whatnot. I think it's hard for people when they're in a bad headspace to kind of get over themselves and look at the bigger picture or not take it out on other people. I personally make it a point myself to, like, if I'm ever having a bad day or in a bad mood, I refuse to come home or hang out with my friends and take it out on them. I think it's too easy to do that. So, all right, I said, Mom moved to the living room and I was alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. I thought it was killing me, dude. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under the blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the window in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Whoa. Then, Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of the ridiculous fear. So she's been like seeing stuff, but I guess since they can't see it, it seems ridiculous. I could see how that would be exhausting. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think to myself. Nightmares be infectious. Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect at my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of the new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces. Pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloody shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that much. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. Felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings. and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I would imagine, no, sorry, I imagine mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton isn't around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates were like me after all. Who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. Oh, that's cute. The house creaked, just by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, is completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs and under the stairs. And they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my diseased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody, and then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed with the sound of wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Oh. Whoa. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind. These were clearly not wolves. It looks like there's a fox, a wolf, a bear, a bird, and a person. This is so cool. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place and, I could swear, pierced me with their gaze. Closed the window. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh my god. That just creeped me out. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch dark shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me! A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guests move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guests should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket, as if I could protect me. Shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up onto her head, and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkling eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buon, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color of blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair, the spawn of Devil's Lair, to feast and always leave alone, God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then, the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remembered him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. Oh, hell no. The doorknob twitched, slightly. Then it turned halfway once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. Oh, fuck no. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. Darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. 2. It was as if the night itself was calling to me, flipping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I think that meant to say Tony. I read it as 2 night, like Aunt Tony or something. Like his full name Anthony. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Damn, what the hell? This is a bar. Yeah, this writing's good. Tony. I'm just gonna read it as Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows, and I screamed from relief. Olia? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and sticked out her lower lip. I think they meant stuck out. This is originally Russian, so there's going to be a couple of these. A clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. I bet you are, bud. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. I wish she would just tell her what he saw. You know, like, there's like a lot of... Children are always confused and will perceive things like a lot of different ways, yeah, but I think it's better when you're talking to a kid if you, like, give, like, credence to their fears. Like, at least to some degree, right? Like, you don't want to justify every little thing. Like, you know, I saw a video of a kid being afraid of a wet noodle, and that's, like, really stupid. But if it's something that's been tormenting her for this long and he just saw something, I think he should just be like, you know what, I saw something too, so then at least she could feel some sort of, like, comfort and not feel like nobody believes her, especially as her older brother. But, you know, he's not saying this with malicious intent or anything. It's just, I wish he would take it more seriously. But it's just the beginning of the story, right? Who can say? Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. I couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes. Just a moment. Oh, holy... Got animations too? This game is peak. Oh my god, yeah, that actually got me. Yeah, that was cool. That's why I don't want to laugh at Olia and our owl in the morning. Oh, so is he just recalling one of these things that he saw? Okay, I got him. So he won't laugh at it. He'll try to calm her down, but he won't. He takes her seriously in a way. Who could be knocking on our door from here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. The closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? Senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy has gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands, and wore a wide smile. Cat looks like it's ginger too from here. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anybody around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window? That's right. Your window looks straight at the forest, don't they? Window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. His voice was tired, but his eyes. His stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. For what, bro? I'm 12. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll into police school when his family visited us this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? 6th? Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. Policemen were gone along with their shadows. The smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I thought about what he felt, being all alone right now. For some reason, I imagined the forest swaying in the wind. His poor parents feel. What would my parents do if I'd gone missing? They'd cry and thrash around hysterically, or would they accuse each other like they always do, and eventually forget about me? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window. Police UAZs drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind while I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mysteries from novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, sorry. My nose. Okay. Let me read that again. And after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents real proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy and get my reward. Olia will be so happy. And not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. The whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job was like. They counted money. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had any money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals, or something even worse? Even worse, echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? You'd better pack your school bag, or go play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Oh, nice! We get choices. Cute. Cool. No, Mom's fear is completely reasonable. Obviously. They just found out about a missing boy, so she doesn't want him going outside. Should we... What's this? What is... Oh, is it showing me things I can interact with? This cross has seen so many people come and go in the house. It was black, as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years that it was hanging on the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. She cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Mom's peg top, family relic. It's a peg top. Is it like a toy? Oh, it is a toy. My mom played with it. What do you do? Do you hit the top of... Oh, is it just one of those spinny tops? Like a old school Beyblade or something? My mom played with it when she was little. Then she gifted it to me. Olia was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. A fairy tale or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. Now, where do I want to go, though? Do I want to go to the kitchen? I would probably leave the dialogue with the bomb. I don't know where this is. I want to go to the front yard and disobey. Anton! I'll whip you if you take a single step out the door. Okay, understood. Mom, can we talk? It was difficult to lie to Mom. There was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there's stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ugh, you're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. Oh, so we get her to go away so that we could leave? Maybe I did that too soon. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She'd be very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it at the time. What? I smiled at the fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had the nickname the Lord of Flies. Second letter is E. I don't know that. Imercom of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment at Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in taiga forest without my help. 1 day closer to New Year's, 1 day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf of caution and it tore off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carrying the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a ferry. It will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the gray leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. I have no idea what this... Oh, there's a translation right here. Senior Lieutenant Tikhonov. Konstantin. Vladimirovich? Okay. Telephone number. This is a telephone number? Are telephone numbers like this in Russia? Oh, one second. I need to Google this. This is 10-digit. Registered by Roskomnadzor. I have such a hard name with Russian. Sorry, a hard time with Russian names. Well, it says 8. It says 8 to 10. Maybe this is just something different, and I'm just confused because it just looks like a date to me. Open the fridge. What do we have? Ooh, can't click on anything besides this. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia here, but now I can only see meat bits for soup and clumped together. I don't know what that is. Pomeni? Pomeni. I grew to hate them already. So we go back. Alright, we're turning back here. I could probably run outside now, but I want to do this. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how does she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in here. She's afraid I'll cut myself with a freshly sharpened axe. I can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she could see that there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3. Better hide from me. I drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she won't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Happy. Alright, we're running. Yippee! Need to take a sip drinking my coffee, dude. God, that's so nice. It feels so good on my throat. This looks like an owl on the left. Man, I love this like grim, dark, graphic novel style black and white art. This shit is so cool. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. The silhouettes I saw were around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. Hypnotizing music started playing in my head on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares into ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me. A barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olio. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest's tiny stockade. Sometimes silence was much more scary than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olio would turn to stone, listening to them. Then always came the ringing silence. Out. I think they meant our. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. Almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. One day it all changed. Something important had left our home. Something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. Who, though? People with dead, cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home. The eyes that only saw balls of worms with the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away, a siren was going on, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. Yeah, he's animated. He was blinking. There were only me, this white field, and a wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under snow like fat snakes. Rotted leaves and carnivorous needles froze into the ice. Oh, there's a mitten. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest, or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow. And when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this midden help them find the lost boy? Boba! I heard a distant shout. It looked like it came from the river. Boba! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Boba sounded closer to me. There was someone standing there, behind the trees. Hiding. Bova! I don't see anyone here. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, there was something unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. I don't see anything yet. Its blackness. There's no one there. Just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Oh! Just kidding. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back at the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. It looked like I was on the left side of the glove from that perspective, so on our right. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. Nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Oh, we got another choice here. We're gonna save again. Hit that third save. I don't really need this one, actually. I could have just saved over that. That's fine. Run away or take? I want the drama. I think I want the drama. We're gonna take it. Risk it for the biscuit. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Boba! The shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Okay, well, I'm gonna grab this. I stepped toward the bristling trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. There was one more voice, probably one of reason, gave me strength and spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing cold air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. Roars were coming from all directions now. Dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snow clearing became vicious like quicksand, stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and moved forward. Pressure on my leg was gone, my boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached the clear path with one jump and from there, ran to my house. The gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings at the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled the doorknob and immediately gave way, and it immediately gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock. I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house. It crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out from the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone. The breath was too. There was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and attachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She saw my condition at last, my wet pants plastered in snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. "Look, over there, at the fence." My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again. My pursuers were following me in the field. I swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a pack of stray dogs, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Sorry, that was weird to me. Barely reminding of the hungry. We know what they mean. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they're rabbit? The smile has slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Ooh. Mom, look, they're alive. What? Are they your friend or foe? After all, make up your mind. You're not a little kid already. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? A mitten. Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to a lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. The boy the police was asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police like the officer told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant. Like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop it this moment. Olia will go insane if she hears me. Hears you. She already has had trouble sleeping and whines all the time, and you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Here, my boy who cried wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come. Take your pills. Ooh. A golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into my palm. I already took one during the breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you... Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, but you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So, I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful tasting water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten after all. Just like the forest monsters and Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom. I was just thinking. What? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with a suspicious gaze. I think I'll have to I'll try to read some of the stuff a bit better. I do understand it's a translation issue, but I'll just try to, if it fits, I'll change the dialogue in real time if I could do that. Because I can see some of the stuff that they're doing. Like, she said something, I forgot what it was, but she said something that made me think, oh, this is probably like in Russian, like a phrase or something. But in English, when you directly translate it, it's weird. So there are definitely going to be some cases like that. And I apologize in the future. So I'm from here on. As if she wasn't sure if she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that had come from the forest. Is everything all right? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm all right, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It looked like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, yellow. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. Melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episode and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Bars and Iago's voices died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Oh, okay. Oh. Hello. She's hiding behind my... That's funny. Let's get everything else first. Monsters, Ghosts, UFOs. The Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Rosman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa's Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olia is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part was where they start to talk about the ghosts really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I'd read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening, and checked to see if they moved due to some supernatural force in the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the Ghost? A Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs, velociraptors, Afrovenators. I've never seen that before. What is an Afrovenator? Sorry, another side quest. Nadors. Oh, they sort of look like a meaner raptor. Cool. How do you say this one? Hypsilophodons? I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. Awesome. And beside it was a Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro, among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zintretti space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. Better resistance for my part, okay. Do this. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about Gandermy. I've started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. And this... one of the drawers was empty. I had the policeman's phone number along with the mitten here. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. And only when I noticed there was someone hiding behind the curtains. Oh, so okay, so if you don't do that, it'll automatically... My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor, just like a savant of sorts. Olia? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips. Yeah, Olia, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness here, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing fully well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olia's head with the setting sun as background. My sister was shining. She was just a baby. Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? It was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Olia ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it here? Are you a thief?" "What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything." A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from the tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Olia could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olia wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Say things like that. Olia nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of erotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander to the forest, right? It must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. Police is going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olia traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. Why are they going to houses and not the forest? Are they scared? Question caught me off guard. She's right, though. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Yeah, true, because all we had to do was walk over to the edge of the forest, basically, and we just saw that there was a mitten there. They didn't even bother to go over. Or did it appear later, for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olia as far away from possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. Why would you say that to her? If you don't want her to do it, well, you know what? She might not even... A lot of stuff like in Field of Wonders. Sorry, I just thought that for a second because it seems like he wants to like shield her from some of the stuff, but at the same time he kind of just says stuff out loud. Like if you say like I might be able to find him, that suggests that you are going to go and look for him, right? What if she wants to go and you don't want to do that? Who cares? I'm thinking about it too much. A lot of stuff like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl won't be able to lift a human. You know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale. No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Olia shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just... I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile, it was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. Oops! Skip something, sorry. Said, you're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. You don't know about that. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what? You know what I would wish for my next birthday? I wish for mom and dad to turn into children so we could go play together like we used to. That's such a cute dream. Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Olia giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin! Fatigue won over my desire to be with my sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Olia. Draw me a dino. Olia, please. Draw it. Draw it. Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I never screamed at my little sister like that. Olia stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething in disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo! You'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Yippee! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Olia rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. Bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Olia disappeared into the doorway. I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Oh, her room is cute. Look at all this. She's even got a Rubik's Cube. I can solve them, you know? Look at this stuff. A piggy bank. Olia was saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Olia's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olia doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Everybody needs one of them. Scary window where Olia sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olia keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight, so she wouldn't be able to see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Need my coffee again. Damn, that's good. Start on the TV. Teddy B. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the bottom of the front panel. Oh, I can see my reflection. Nice. The tube warmed up, and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. Ooh. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepily resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. A few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by the noise. Did I catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch the Robotech before school. Translation? It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch the signal again? On the other hand, Olia had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do it all. See. don't know if I feel like disappointing Oli again, but we need the drama. Let me see. So search will be to find the tape, Set will be to try and get that signal back again. We'll do Set. Picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing. A voice barely coming through the cacophony. He was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up in the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating in a slow, mournful voice. Slow and mournful. It was a pitch dark night at the cemetery. And that fateful dark time, little Sinya met her fate at the face of the monstrous thicket dweller. Locals call him none other than the forest monster. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator and listen closely to his every word. The beast dwelt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned along the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown all over the place. I didn't want to think whether the Sinya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in a nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face from an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, such a fearsome beastie it is. Worse than the rising dead. The old woman spattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Ooh. You see that? There's something over there. And the stink. It's like the rest of her compassion was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there. Menacingly, sorry, yes, right where you stand, Oyo, and pierced me with its eyes, right in the middle of the day. It was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you, put you into its bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the Devil's Winch. And it's definitely true. A carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for an innocent child's blood instead. Master of the forest's presence is felt more and more, on the outskirts of the country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All of the animals obey it, but they hairy or feathery. Be they hairy or feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it's most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep, and birds watching you from the trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon, 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 soon. Oh, is it messed up? Oh, based. TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my ears. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape. For a moment, I thought it was stained with saliva. That was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops. I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough I had ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put this tape's creepy stuff all over it. I can't let her see this. She'll drown in tears, okay? I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway. Have you started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. Oh, I feel bad. No. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do. Turn it on already. Mom will come watch our Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think, fake detective. You know, I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch The Little Mermaid instead. I've already seen it so many times, and you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know, let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first. Deal? Olia frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest. If you want it so much, can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself on the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped up before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa I realized the can was already open. Olia had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone, "Gotcha!" Times 3. As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan. I couldn't even open my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. He'll play it, and then black crosses on unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps on the snow, and the insane devil's winch. I better tell her the truth. Olia, stop! I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off all of those plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head, heavy as a leaden ball, now rested in my hands. Olia smiled with joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over the bread. When the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to the Neverland. She always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where no one ever argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me along the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines, like a winged carnivore will track its prey. I felt like I was dreaming, with my eyes still open. I see. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains, fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Ooh, why do they have me doing this? Okay. I did my best not to look outside toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows and branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Olia's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like mom and dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. It was madness. But after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olia's owl existed. Exactly. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting slightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. Another moon peeked from under the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Olia. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olia's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hit the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple, as if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? East or null? Maybe it's just part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that were my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Oh, that was episode 1. Okay. That's how they said they were going to release 5 episodes, but it's been a long time, so obviously the other ones must be complete, right? Some story. What's this? Well, I guess that's it for the first part. I will get back to you as soon as I get episode 2. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.